Okay. So, I have a course of action. I found this book in your laundry room and took it with me, as well as 2 others. Don't worry, I can send them back, or just give them back, if that's a welcome thing. So it's called Centuria by Giorgio Manganelli. It's 101-page novels. So he describes a novel to be some 40 lines plus 2 cubic meters of space. And in this book, due to an opportunity he found with an excess of paper that's slightly larger than normal, he thought of what it would be like to create a story with the physical restrictions, like the idea of sonnet, and how that would affect one's storytelling. And so it became Centuria. It caught my eye when I was compulsively organizing the books in your laundry room to just by what interested me and then what didn't. It's still like that. But I want to be able to send this to you, but it's probably not realistic. It's probably not like the best course of action right now either. I don't know. I really don't know. I really don't know how much you're receiving me positively. I'm extremely nervous about it, actually. It's been a somber time, actually. I'm like, when will I get to experience life while, like, not yearning for somebody who's not responding or doesn't know how to respond? Because it's not just you at all right now that's, like, making that feeling so deep. It's the fact that, like, not even my siblings are responding. Or they really have ever and stuff. But especially, like, now, like, I'm in our ancestral home right now. Like, I'm sending pictures and videos of things that make us, and just, like, also my experience, like, sharing with them. And I don't get a response from anybody. And if I do, it's not very much. So, I wanted to share with you the finishing paragraph of the author's preface, just to get a gist of the energy. I could just post this on YouTube and share it. I'll do that. If I'm allowed to offer a suggestion, there is an optimum way to read this book, but costly. Acquire the right to the use of a skyscraper with the same number of floors as the number of lines of the text to be read. At each floor, station a reader holding the book. Assign each reader a line. On a signal, the supreme reader will begin to plunge from the building's summit. And as he transits progressively past the windows, each floor's reader will read the line assigned in a loud, clear voice. It is understood that the number of the building's floors must exactly correspond to the number of the lines, and that there be no ambiguity on second floor and mezzanine, which might cause an embarrassing silence before impact. It is also good to read it in the outer shadows. Better if at absolute zero, in a capsule, lost in space. Had a lovely sidebar conversation with my nanay, who came in upon finishing the preface. Chapter 1.
I'm just happy to see your Sheila. I send them to we send them all to school. Swin now is a teacher. Just being, they are now self-sufficient to provide their family. So, but the boys, they finish the school but they don't work. I don't know. It's not my problem anymore.
You know the daughters will have your back. Who knows about the boys?
See, are you still alive? Are you still breathing? What can I do,
Well, I'm gonna hold them accountable.
No.
Don't worry.
I don't want to be.
I'm not going to speak for you. I'm going to speak for me.
I know you are. Yeah, you have to grow up.
Seriously. That was really important. I'm so glad that got caught. Thank you, Nana, for everything. You are seen and you have been seen. I do. I love you. And I'm so grateful to you and Papa John for supporting you in your mission to support our family. And Papa John for receiving all of us so beautifully. What a beautiful man. just a smile in the room all the time. Okay. After 2 sidebar conversations with Nanai, chapter 1. Let's suppose that a person who is writing a letter to another person, their sexes are immaterial, should at least at some point hold the suspicion, or simply perhaps the realization, of being slightly drunk. No, it's not a question of drunk and disorderly, noisy and repugnant, if not for the fact that drunkenness is a hyperbole for existence, and as such, as we learn to write in essays, points out its intrinsic repellency. The writer, disturbed by the revelation of his drunkenness, might simply lay down his pen, but the tepid lucidity of intoxication might make it appear appropriate to abstain from further communication. But abstention from further writing would amount to having made a reasonable assessment of the forms of unreasonable behavior which typify inebriation. So, he could abdicate his writer's throne, only insofar as he could identify himself as non-inebriated, and a mask, performance, and counterfeit of himself while drunk. But in the moment in which he realizes or believes himself to have grown aware of the realization of his inebriation, he has also spurned all intention or desire to give it up, nor would he tolerate doing so. So, from this moment on, his drunkenness will be voluntary, which is not an unavoidable option, even if strongly counseled by drowsiness, by moral irritation, by a bizarre admixture of discomfort and contentment, which altogether he evaluates as symptoms of an inebriation. So, he will continue to write. But shall he write in a particularly guarded fashion, or quite the opposite, in an innocent, imprecise, prelapsarian way? He refuses to superintend himself, since he knows, and has always known, that caution courts silence. Caution courts silence. Caution courts silence. And that rather than the silence of abstention, it is the crude and brutal abstention of the gag. He finds innocence, however, to be equally repugnant, especially his innocence scraped together with the complicity of a glass of fermented juice. Yet no sooner that he finishes writing these words, or thinking them, he cannot refrain from asking himself what other kind of innocence there might be outside this slightly toxic fuzzy-mindedness. It's upon innocence, then, that he has to pass judgment, upon his own innocence. But is there finally no possible compromise between the cowardice of such an innocence and the dignity of a lie? My friend, he writes, if shame is the only thing that is not shameful, I am not. Am I not? Am I not? Perhaps, to aspire to the innocence of inner peace. But the words contain challenge and enrage him. My friend, he writes, if shame is the only thing that is not shameful, am I not, perhaps, to aspire to its innocent inner peace? But the words contain a challenge and enrage him.